What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Juggernaut. Multi-platinum production team, Arkatech Beatz. Shout out to my partner, Mike Trauma D. Welcome to the Music Review Live series. If it's your first time here, make sure you like, commenting, and subscribing. We have now gotten well over 1,000 submissions for our music review series. Like I said, if it's your first time here, I'm a multi-platinum producer, Arkatech Beatz, Big Pun Nas, Prodigy of Malti, Jada Kiss the Game, Max B, French Montana, Wiz Khalifa, Waka Flocka Flame, Killer Mike, Freddie Gibbs, and so many others. We're listening to your music live, we're giving you constructive feedback, and we're really telling you how to get better with your music. And at the same time, we are looking for new artists and new producers. For my producers that are looking to learn the music business, make sure you join us on our school community, school.com/Future Producer Society. We're teaching the music business, we're teaching the game, we're teaching music production, everything there. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. About to get started in a few minutes. Just let the algorithm heat up a little bit. Notify a few folks who may have actually submitted their records so that I can let them know that we're getting ready to listen. We got some skips that's coming up. Shout out to everybody jumping into the live. I see you. Adrian, I see you. Tata, I see you. What's going on? Listen to tonight, make sure you hit the link on the screen. Nero.fan/Arkatech Beatz. Fifth Element, what up? We about to get into this joint, man. It's called Count My Days by Hondo 100K. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live stream. Listen, man, we had a really dope experience yesterday. One of the artists that had been submitting a record to me, he submitted a record to me maybe like a week or so ago. A little over a week ago, and I gave him some feedback, and I said, hey man, you got all the components of a good record, of a hit record here. It was just that it was a little bit disjointed in terms of its arrangement. So I said, hey, move some things around, move the hook here, move the verses here, change this here, let's get some things here, let's produce it, you know what I mean? I gave him the feedback. He went back to the studio, came back yesterday, played the joint sounded crazy. Y'all can make sure y'all check that out on the YouTube. You can watch that replay. But this is one of those key examples of somebody that's taking the feedback in real time and has really been able to institute that and be able to take that feedback and basically improve on their record. This is one of those things, man. Like, this series is really about getting folks to get better, to try to get their music to a commercially viable stage. If you're looking to pitch your records, we're trying to make sure that you understand what it is to get your records placed, as a producer. If you're an artist, I want to try to make sure you're getting the best type of record that you can put out in terms of the song structure, making sure that things are correct with your mixes and, everything else that may be associated with it, because sometimes folks don't really have that extra ear for people to listen to, So we're trying to provide this here. Hopefully folks can understand what it is, and what we're trying to do here. We're trying to not just listen to people's records, skip them, and then trash them. We're really trying to listen to people's records and really give them some feedback as to how they can really get better. If you haven't watched the series, make sure you try to watch it. You know what I'm saying? It's, like I said, it's still on YouTube. Some of the stuff is out there on YouTube. The replays, etc. I'm going to jump into this first record. It's called Hondo 100K. It was Count My Days by Hondo 100K. Shout out to him. Let's listen to it. Let's see how this joint sound.
Bring it up. Before a nigga got a license, now it's on the scrap. He sneak this and in another state, getting knocked the bottom out. Bet my leg gambling with my life, I pray on crowd. I know I ain't going for that, but now you niggas should know that. I got niggas that ain't locked up, I just want my bro back. She came over with a hat, did now she leave with a broke back. I came from that just like you, dog, I started it from scratch. So hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4 flat. Hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4 flat tires. But let your people know they ever try me, they get flatlined. I'm done showing love, they fuck me over for the last time. I fucked that bitch, I throw my watch, I told her leave it past time. Bring a couple copper niggas by the nail like clothesline. I can't make no money, baby, being on you hoes line. And it is what it is, give a fuck about what it was now. Just make sure everybody respect, but I don't give a fuck now. You just make sure everybody respect, I don't give a fuck now. I wonder how it sound if I can hear my hood cry. Oh,
JQ, what up?
Wanna understand me, just take a look where I come from. And I can't pick my car and drive unless I got my fucking gun. We can go to war, my nigga Kobe got strapped by the ton. And I got my family locked up in that bar without no bun. I can never lose, I beat the odds, I already won. I can't be nobody but me, shawty, no on one-on-one. Whole city know she freaked, I bet she act like a nun. Before a nigga got a license, now it's on the scrap. He sneak this and in another state, getting knocked the bottom out. Bet my leg gambling with my life, I pray on crowd. I know I ain't going for that, but now you niggas should know that. I got niggas that ain't locked up, I just want my bro back. She came over with a hat, did now she leave with a broke back. I came from that just like you, dog, I started it from scratch. So hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4 flats.
Stone Cold, what up? JQ Nation, what up? Renzo, what up? I think
I came from that just like you, dog, I started it from scratch. So hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4 flats. Before a nigga got a license, now it's on the scrap. He sneak this and in another state, getting knocked the bottom out. Bet my leg gambling with my life, I pray on crowd. I know I ain't going for that, but now you niggas should know that. I got niggas that ain't locked up, I just want my bro back. She came over with a hat, did now she leave with a broke back. I came from that just like you, dog, I started it from scratch. So hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4 flats.
okay. So I couldn't make out the hook on this record.
Bring it up. Before a nigga got a license, now it's on the scrap. He sneak this and in another state, getting knocked the bottom out. Bet my leg gambling with my life, I pray on crowd. I know I ain't going for that, but now you niggas should know that. I got niggas that ain't locked up, I just want my bro back. She came over with a hat, did now she leave with a broke back. I came from that just like you, dog, I started it from scratch. So hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4 flats. Hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4.
So from what I'm putting together here is that this first 8 and that last 8 is what the hooks are. It doesn't. So let's go. Let's start with what I think is actually working here. What I think is working is I think that it's a decent beat, right? I think that's a decent beat. I think that he has a decent flow on this thing. Nothing like that's outwardly standing out, but for the most part, it's decent. It's not really having an issue in terms of the mix. The mix to me sounds pretty clean. But what I was listening for really was just the song structure, and the song structure is sort of there, even though the hook starts a little bit late in the record. I think it should probably start a little bit sooner. And then the issue what I'm having with the hook is that the hook sounds exactly like the rest of the verse. The hook sounds like the verses, so it blended in. So this is an issue that we have sometimes, is that we may have a hook that just doesn't stand out enough, and it just sounds like a continuation of the rhyme, you know. So if it wasn't for me really critically listening to it, I wouldn't have been able to make it out, because I'm listening for the term "count my days," because that's the name of the song. So I'm listening for that to try to differentiate where the hook might be. You know what I mean? So we kind of hear that in the first and the last hook, but it's like these are 8-bar rap hooks, man. And, you know, I always tell everybody to kind of abstain from that. 8-bar rap hooks are just too long. They're not memorable. They're not repetitive. They're not redundant. They're not enough to make a hook really stand out as a hook, right? So if it doesn't have like a special type of flow, or if it doesn't have, you know, like recurring words in the 8-bar hook, then I tell guys to really refrain from that. So I think really the best bet here is to have a record that's going to have like 4 bars, like I said, 4 bars of the hook, and then repeat. You know what I mean? And you have to kind of figure out what that 4 bars is going to sound like in order for us to really make sure that it's going to have some staying power. Outside of that, we got to put the hook in the middle as well. So you got the hook in the beginning, middle, and end. I don't think that this is starting soon enough. I think we have too much real estate in the front that's not being used properly. I think the guitar is dope too. Should have started right there.
Bring it up. Before a nigga got a license, now it's on the scratch.
And see how he didn't say anything, so we don't know what's gonna happen on this record. Like, we don't know if he's shouting himself out. We don't know what's going on this record. I don't know if it's a beat. I don't know what it is. Like, he's getting started literally at 23 seconds in. That's too late. You know, by that time, you're gonna have people that just kind of swipe off this record because they don't know what's happening. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if a rapper's coming on, and we don't know what's happening on this record. So, you know, it's not enough going on it for it to really be something that's going to keep people around for that long before something goes on. So that's a waste of real estate. This should have started at no more than 15 seconds in, right? He should be at least saying something in the beginning leading up to it, you know, talking a little bit of shit, trying to get us really introduced to what the record is going to start to sound like. And then once the record starts at about 15 seconds in, we can go in with the hook. Remember what we said, we want a 4-bar cadence, and then we repeat that to make it an 8-bar hook. And then we go into the verse. You know, here he has an 8-bar verse, which, if you think about it, now he got an 8-bar verse, an 8-bar hook that's starting at 23 seconds in the song. So the song really we don't hear the first verse in the song almost into well into a minute of the song. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is very, very, very tricky territory here, trying to get the song for people to listen to it all the way through with engagement.
He sneak this and then another stay getting knocked the bottom out. Bet my leg gambling with my life, I pray on crowd. I know I ain't going for that by now, you niggas should know that. I got niggas that ain't locked up, I just want my bro back. She came over with a hat, did now she leave with a broke back. I came from that just like you.
And with his lead vocal, it might be a little bit too much effects on it. But for the most part, the level of it is good to me. I just think it may have a little bit more too much effects on it in terms of delay.
I got started it from scratch, so hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4 flat. Hang on me when I get you nowhere like you had 4 flat tires. But let your people know they ever try me, they get flat line. I'm done showing love, they fucked me over for the last time. I fucked that bitch, I throw my watch, I told her leave it past time. Bring a couple of copper niggas by the nail like clothesline. I can't make no money, baby, being on you whole line. And it is what it is, give a fuck about what it was now. You make sure everybody respect it, I don't give a fuck now. You make sure everybody.
And then with the vocal sample, we should be only using the vocal sample where the hooks are at. I don't think we should use the vocal samples during the verse. Guys need to make sure that they're stripping down the vocals. Listen, leave these vocal samples out of the verses if you can, so you can give the track space to breathe. You need the artist to have space to breathe, man. You know, it's something that we talk about here a lot. You know, for producers, you guys have to create space for your artist's vocal performance. Like, you guys are not leaving enough space for that. You guys are cramming too much instrumentation, too much music, too much vocal samples, too much sounds. You're putting too many things happening during the verse. Like, you know, there's no way for us to really hear the artist give us a shining vocal performance with all of these things that are occurring inside of the verse. We have to make sure that we're giving space. You know what I mean? So I want my producers that are jumping into the building and jumping into this. I want my artists to understand that listen, there are places in records that have to be stripped down to give us a chance to get into the groove, to give us a chance to get into your voice, to give us a chance to get into your cadence, to give us a chance to listen to you, to understand if we like what you're spitting, if we like what you're singing, if we have to get a chance to get that hair to stand up on our, you know what I'm saying? Like we got to get a chance for that. But what's happening is that I'm hearing a lot where guys are submitting music. We're not creating the appropriate amount of space, you know, musically. So it doesn't leave the right bed of music, you know, for folks to really shine, you know. So I think we have to really get back to that. And, you know, only the elite artists really understand that, you know, and the elite producers, they understand that, you know, less is more in getting that space. Shout out to Hundo 100K. Thank you for submitting this. This was a skip. He skipped the line. Like I said, we had well over 1,000 submissions on this here, man, on this series. And we're going to continue to go through these records, you know, slowly but surely as time permits for me. We got a lot of things going on. Cosmo Brothers coming soon, right? That's coming the next week. So, you know, we have to wait and see what happens, and, you know, in terms of what landed, what didn't land, you know, because in the true story, in the land of Me Too, for us making the album on the for Coke Wave 3.5, like, we really didn't know we was on that album until the day of, because the song that we did with Max we did it with Max, and we didn't know it was going to make it on that side. So, you know, a lot of times you may not know that your record really made the cut until the very, very end. You know what I'm saying? And then these guys try to do the business retroactively, which is fine in some cases, but in most cases, I don't recommend it if you can prevent it, but sometimes you just don't have the ability to have control over that, right? So you get in where you can fit in, and then you try to make the business work afterward, you know, once people are really, like, into your music and you have a little bit of leverage. A lot of it is, too, is about leverage, too. So sometimes, you know, when these guys releasing the music without doing the business first, it actually puts you in a position of more leverage, because now you have takedown leverage. But everybody doesn't really understand that. Sometimes people will overplay their hands. So, you know, you got to sometimes let it breathe for a little bit, let people fall in love with the record, let people fall in love with the album, the way that it's constructed. And if the business isn't really done the way it needs to be done, then you can kind of have that leverage now, because now you got some metrics that shows that record is actually, you know, doing its thing, and, you know, taking it down may hurt the overall project. So, you know, you got to work on leverage. Shout out to Power. Rest in peace to Power. Oliver Power Grant from Wu-Tang. You know, he was one of my mentors when it comes to leverage. You know, I was able to watch him, you know, use the leverage of the Wu-Tang brand in real time. I watched him strong arm an entire project, Hollywood movie project. I watched him strong arm the entire thing. You know, people may say, what do you mean strong arm it? Like, you know, he went from just acting in it to basically controlling the soundtrack and everything else along with it, you know what I mean? But it was because of the leverage of the Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang had that leverage, just came off that double CD, Wu-Tang Forever. So at that point, he was able to call some certain shots, you know. But, you know, you have to understand, you know, what that leverage looks like in real business. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live. Stone Cold, what up, man? How you been? How was your Mother's Day? Try to jump into this next record. See what we got. We got Ants in Your Pants by Zabaya. I don't know what this sounds like, so we're gonna try it. Looks like it may be AI.
Report a situation. There's been an infestation. Some insects may be on the dance floor, but despite our little friends, this dance ain't gonna end. Not as
want to tell you thank you for submitting. Not really sure on that one, man. It's ants in your pants, man. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of distortion on that, ants in your pants. Primo G, what up? A little ants in your pants and yeah, I just don't I don't really have anything for that tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for submitting it. I don't really got anything for that tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't really got nothing for that, man. Shout out to everybody that's jumping into the live stream, man. I don't really have anything for that tonight. It's just one of those days today, dogs. Shout out to everybody that got kids that's toward the end of the year and all of the end of the year school activities that got you going crazy. Man, let me tell you. Shout out to everybody that's in there doing what they got to do. Shout out to those active parents out there, man. Sheesh. Listen to this next joint called High Expectations by Young Wolf.
Look at where we started. Can we get there, babe? This isn't what I wanted. Even though I thought it'd be. Look at where we started. Can we get there, babe?
I had high. You just wanna know what I'm feeling, I guess you won't know. And when I look up to the sky, realize that you the type of person to leave me in a cold zone. Give me bad vibration. You could say that you know exactly how I be, but the truth is you don't really know me. Got a version of the old me who's stuck up in your head, but it's not my problem, you know a version of me that's dead. It ain't real love if it leaves and walks away. And I know you fed up with people who just been giving you a bit of taste. And if it's real love, then you gotta walk through all the rain. Otherwise a stain on your heart ain't ever gonna fade.
3, 2, 1.
Honey, this isn't what I thought it'd be. Look at where we started. We're gonna get there, babe. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't how I thought it'd be. Look at where we started. We're gonna get there, babe. Yeah, I know we finna get it, but it might take a minute for us to get there. I've been shredded, but I know that I'll make it right through the nightmare. For a long, long time, I've been stuck in these situations. Toxic as it gets, but I will make it through it patient. You won't know that it isn't how I thought it'd be. And
You know, shout out to Young Wolf Official. This joint called High Expectations. There's definitely a little bit of potential there in terms of his voice. And I'm listening to how his song structure is. I feel like the hook could be a little stronger. But what I was really trying to pay attention for, to see if he had like any notes where he was really flat or anything like that, and just kind of listen to it technically in terms of what he's doing with his ad libs and how he's really kind of structuring his song. It's not incredibly off base. I think that there's the potential there in terms of as long as he kind of continues to kind of get into the studio. The things that are good here is that it has a decent beat. It sounds like he's on key, which I think is great, right? He's audible, which I think is great. The melody, at least for the verse, I think is kind of cool. The melody for the hook might need a little bit of work. But you can clearly see it's a young artist, so he got time to develop. You know what I'm saying? So this is one of those things where you got to get into the pocket over here, start kind of submitting these records, and start seeing, okay, how can we get these things a little bit better? But what I would like to see on this one too, right, folks, is to take that and then try to run a cover through AI, and then see what it gives you. You know what I'm saying? To see how you can improve on the record. I don't think that people are understanding, like, this is what it can be used for. It can be used for as kind of like a writing session. Like, this is what you wrote. Let me throw something into the AI, see what the AI gives me. You know what I'm saying? In terms of a cover, right? And then say, okay, how can I implement, some of the things that might help to improve maybe the hook, maybe improve the way I might want to sing certain parts. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like folks are not realizing that you can really put a writing partner in the room with you. These are the things that are very important, especially if you're looking to compete in today's marketplace. So just something to think about, man. You know what I mean? Not telling people to, hey, that you have to totally rely on AI music, but I think that it's a tool that can definitely give you different ways of kind of looking at how the music is constructed. Because Lord knows, let me tell y'all something, right? I might have a record that I might do. I might have a beat that I might do. And I might do the beat, and I might be like, yo, I like where the beat is going. But I was like, you know what? Let me drop it into the AI. Let me see what else it gives me. Maybe I could do the drums different. Maybe I could add something onto the sample that I'm not really hearing, right? And this is the way of trying to get that real time, those real time iterations and changes that kind of get us to, I won't say perfection, but to kind of get us to improve. You know what I mean? Because, hey, I didn't hear it that way. It's the same way like when you guys bring your music over here. It's almost the same kind of iteration. It's like you're trying to basically use a system of experience to try to get you to a different level of what you're going to hear sonically, right? And when you think about how many records are being inputted into this system over here, it has quite a lot of information that can help to kind of give you something back as long as you're asking the right questions. You know what I mean? So you have to basically set the right prompts and stuff. But shout out to Young Wolf here for submitting that. Shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to all y'all, man, and people that's jumping into the live, whatever. Because I'm about to sign off. I have to jump into another set of things that I need to make sure that I'm managing. So shout out to everybody that's in the building. Shout out to my man Sean Anthony Baker. Congratulations to him. Shout out to Mila Williams of 702. If you guys know about that group, if you know, you know. Shout out to them. New movie out, Strength of Love. It's on streaming platforms like Prime and Apple TV. You guys can go check that out. Music direction by Arkatech Beatz. Shout out to my guy Jeff Basil, Baz Brothers Films. They had the premiere over the weekend. You know what I mean? Out here, and I appreciate that, Richie. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to everybody that's jumping in and watching the film. I'll have to talk about the process of what it took for us to kind of get that music together. Over there. You know what I mean? Shout out to my man Kenneth. He did a great job with assisting us with the score, and a few other things. So, shout out to everybody that, contributed and helped us in working with that. Also, shout out to my man Big Chris too. I forgot about that. My man Big Chris. Shout out to him as well. But yeah, man, I'm about to hurry up and jump out of here. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at that. But in any event, I'll give you guys. I'm gonna jump out of here, and okay. Shout out to everybody. But like I said, Boy Swagger, what up, man? So who created Nero? Shout out to my man. It's a guy, dude named Eddie. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a decent platform in terms of being able to use that. But we will probably be migrating from the platform soon. Boy Swagger, because I said I've been partnering with some different companies that have been doing something similar, but they're doing something different, which would be definitely a different music discovery platform for independent artists and producers whose music is released. So I expect that to happen probably within the next 30 days. You know what I mean? It's definitely going to be something that when you guys get a chance to see it, you're going to be like, all right, you know what I mean? So it's definitely going to be a different type of wave, you know what I'm saying? But we'll still be able to do what we're doing here in terms of listening to music live. I think there's going to be a different component in terms of artists being able to support artists, and different mechanisms in terms of charts and analytics and those type of things. Basically, for people to get listened to and get streamed. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, listen, it's the thing right now, man. You know what I'm saying? It's the thing right now. It's the thing until it's not the thing. You know what I'm saying? It's the thing until it's not the thing. But what you're seeing, boy Swagger, is you're watching the industry. You're watching the industry pivot. It's pivoting because at the end of the day, remember what happened in the last 2 years. The last 2 years, we did something with the industry in terms of the battle. You know what I'm saying? So the battle really, cratered a lot of music in one genre. So guys allowed that to destroy the ecosystem. So now that they destroyed the music ecosystem, guys had to find a different way to eat. Here comes the Nero. You know what I'm saying? So now when you don't have people releasing music at a high clip, right, it impacts the entire ecosystem. It impacts the songwriters, the producers, the engineers, right? It impacts the budgets, right? Because now you got a situation where if nobody's selling records, you don't have any capital investment. And this is what we were trying to warn folks of when we were telling these folks about, this whole Drake destruction campaign. I'm like, you guys don't understand what you're doing. You guys don't realize how much you really contributed to the ecosystem overall. That people didn't realize that. People now realizing it now. Even if you're a talking head, he still gives you a stimulus package. He doesn't even have to rap for you, and he can give you a stimulus package. All you got to do is talk about Drake, and you're going to get put up in the algorithm. You see what I'm saying? So you see how that works? So it's like he's helping folks, and folks don't even realize folks is getting help. You know what I'm saying? Just for talking about him is help. So at the end of the day, hopefully with this album that comes out on Friday, hopefully it helps to start to set things back in a different motion. And we got to see where it goes. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's going to be the end all be all, but at the same time, I think it's necessary in order for the culture to have a strong summer. Like, it's very important for us to have a strong summer with this music, that this music has to do very well monetarily. If it does very well monetarily, then they'll start opening them budgets for rappers again. You know what I mean? But rappers got to be good now. Rappers can't be sucked. They can't suck. That's another thing. A lot of guys suck, man. You know what I mean? They're not really good. And you can't bot it anymore. So now you got to be good. So shout out to everybody that jumped into the live. You know what I mean? We about to jump out here.